Trevor of Hunt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me back.
Excellent. Welcome again to 69 Faces of Rock.
Yeah.
Now, you have a new album out. Congratulations, and another one on the way, right?
Yeah.
How do you prepare yourself for a new record whenever you do one?
Well, I have this very strong work ethic of kind of like a Beatles type work ethic where I'm writing songs basically all the time. When I got back from this past tour that we just got done doing, I gave myself a big goal of writing at least 4 new riffs a week. So a lot of it just stems off of the riffs that I write. And I find it really easy just to once you have a general idea, it's kind of easy to go back to as a songwriter and just kind of put it together. I obviously have a formula of sorts, but I also try to sometimes freshen up what I am doing. You know, throw a couple curveballs in there, try a couple things maybe I didn't do on a previous record. So, I mean, right now I have so much material. I could literally, I don't think my yearly album release isn't gonna stop anytime within the next 5 or 6 years. I got enough material right now just to get me to that. Mm-hmm. And you obviously within those years I'm gonna be still writing new stuff on top of that.
Since you record every instrument yourself, how do you hear it inside your head?
I always there's this the way that I kind of orchestrate everything. The fun part for me is when I get to drum to it. Once I get to the drums, it's like a whole thing, because my drummer, my live drummer, he kind of comes in and he's like, nope, and I'll have to go back and re-record it, to his standards, even, because he's kind of he just wants to be a live drummer. He doesn't, he knows that I just write all the time, and it's kind of tough if you really think about learning material that quickly that you're just not going to play. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We're not a new band anymore. We've been around for long enough to where it's I got my old songs and my new songs, and we got to play old songs that people want to hear. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of just know already, there's specific styles that I just generally go towards. 4 on the floor beat, that kind of easy thing, or DB beat, you know what I mean? There's a couple others that I like to do, the gallop, there's just a number of rhythmic things that I do. So a lot of it's already there. As soon as it's how I strum the guitar is almost gonna dictate everything.
How do you balance it all out? I'm picking your mind here.
Yeah, no, so I look at music as this is what I love to do. So I like to do it every day. So every day I do a little bit of work, give myself little goals, little things to do. The next record is done. It comes out March 2024. I'm already recording the next one. Actually, I'm recording the next 2. I'm going to have the next 2 albums in the pipeline by easily in the middle of next year. So I'm going to be up into 2026, I'm going to have my material done. And it's just a matter of just when you're inspired, when you want to do it, it's easy. It's not work to me. This is something that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I balance it out. I love it. So when you want to go in the studio and work on music all the time like I do, it's really not that hard, That's really what it comes down to.
Let's dig into Golden Arm. There it is. Show it. There it is. What can you tell me about this record?
So Golden Arm, I pieced together a lot of songs on this one. I kind of went back to some styles of some Southern California punk influence on it, songs like Hit and Run, which is the opening track, Piece by Piece, and Vacant Space. They're all kind of influenced by, growing up in California, and the punk scene was really prominent in the 90s. Pennywise, Strung Out, I can name all the bands, but there's a lot. And I kind of wanted to like blend a little bit of like what I do into that, just to see what it, how it felt. So it's kind of like those. I had a few songs in that kind of idea that maybe don't sound like anything from the previous record or the record before. Because I really just started kind of diving into some of that Southern California stuff, which is not going to be on the next record. I don't really do anything of that style. So I kind of experimented a little bit of trying to like incorporate some of my roots into it, and also just kind of pay homage to that kind of style that really inspired me at the times. You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of great metal in the late 90s, early 2000s, so that was something that I wanted to do. The whole album was really based around two songs, Golden Arm and Fight the Good Fight. Those were the two songs that I really kind of like was honing in on, and like was like, this is, everything else is going to be built around that. The Horse's Mouth, I kind of wanted to do something that again, it doesn't really sound like any other Haunt song. It's like, it's like, it has a little bit different feel. It's a little bit more hardcore, which is something I don't really fuck with that often. It's a little bit new to the sound. I don't even think it's really made a return on anything that I've been doing, that I'm known for doing. So that's pretty much how I built this record up. I tried to make, like when I look at a record, like I try to just kind of incorporate an eclectic mix of songs that are not typically gonna all sound the same. They're all gonna have like a different speed. You're gonna be able to hear Haunt, but you're gonna hear different things. Yeah. Not just this. I don't like to tread on the same path constantly. Even though there's things I like to go back and relive, I'm always looking for something just to throw in, just to see if people like it, or just to keep the creative juices flowing.
It's not that long of a record. Do you get to play the whole thing live? No.
I haven't played an entire record live since 2019. I mean, as soon as Burst into Flame came out, I had Icarus right after. And honestly, while we were doing the tour for Burst into Flame, we were already playing songs off of Icarus Could Fly during that tour. We were playing It's in My Hands, we were playing Defender. So we were already kind of like, as soon as Burst into Flame came out, I was already kind of whittling away at stuff that I didn't want to really do live, So I haven't played a record in its entirety since Burst into Flame.
You're very active online.
Yeah.
What do your fans say about the new album?
I mean, I've gotten really good reviews on the record. It's selling really well. See, the fans, they've been super supportive. That I could just say without a doubt. So I don't really like engage that much on like, oh, do you guys like this? My engagement to them is more about, what we're doing or how I'm feeling, try to throw some positive energies out there, like, throw some of the merch stuff out there, ideas I have. I'll share demos. Like a lot of the things I do is I go live on my fan club page and, share what I'm up to and stuff. More, not so much try to like, to me, the record is a journal of just a period of time that's already gone. This has been, for me, this is a year old already, before it even came out. So in my mind, that represents a past time that there's not much to say about it anymore. Like when I was doing the record and recording it, I was already talking with my fans about it. And those that don't know, I have a Patreon page, patreon.com/HauntTheNation, where you get inside scoop on things I'm doing. And then there's the fan club group on Facebook, that I go do live stuff on there as well, and you get to hear the inner workings of everything. I share it very openly with everybody to kind of journal the life of, what I'm doing, my journey.
Now, Golden Arm, like you said, it's still a fairly new album, but you already have another album recorded.
Yeah.
Right? It's called Dreamers,
Yes.
right? Tell me about it.
Dreamers is gonna be, it's the first record that I have a bass player on. I've played bass on the last Flashback, Beautiful Distraction, and Windows of Your Heart. I played bass on Burst in a Flame too, but when I got Taylor Holman in the live band, he played on Icarus and he played on Mind Freeze. So it's the first album to kind of feature my new bass player, Sam Harmon. He did an excellent job, so I worked with somebody else on it, you know, which is kind of not something I generally do, but not anything that I stayed against either. You know, it was like, I kind of did everything. Hi. Okay.
All right, we back, and we're talking about Dreamers.
Yes, yes. So Dreamers, to get back kind of to what we were saying, it's the first record to include, you know, an actual member of the band on the record. Sam plays bass on it. Of course, like on Golden Arm, my guitar player Andy Lee also has some solos on here. He does solos on Horse's Mouth. He does solos on Fight the Good Fight and stuff. So he's included in, you know, like in that process to kind of give it that dual guitar attack that I've been known for. I've always kind of had collaborators in that. John, the first guitar player, he contributed solos, and as did Philly Bibiano on the Beautiful Distraction record. The only one that I did all by myself was Windows of Your Heart. Nobody soloed on it but me. Dreamers is definitely, production-wise, we've worked with Darren Trenacost again, who did Golden Arm, and we really stepped up our production game on this one. Sounds really nice. We had some ideas of who we wanted it to, like, you know, sonically what we were looking for. So we approached it on a sonic level, which in the past we've done a lot of lo-fi, done a lot of old school shit, traditional shit. But this was like much more detailed. We spent a little more time on that kind of thing. There's some acoustic guitars in it, which is not something we generally do. There's a cover song on it. Another thing that I don't really do, and probably actually, honestly, after I did this, I'm never gonna do it again. That was thanks man. It was a one-time kind of like, all right, but it has a completely different vibe than Golden Arm, entirely. Like, I wouldn't even put the two like in the same, you could tell it's Haunt, but it's a little bit different.
I kind of noticed that because, you know, I got to listen to both albums at the same time, so it's not like I don't have that year in between them like you do, and like, yeah, it's the same band, but it's not the same band, not the same music.
Yes.
Why the title Dreamers?
Well, I'm a dreamer, man, and like one of the things with heavy metal that I found and becoming friends with some legendary people, like guys like Brian Ross from Blitzkrieg and Satan and others, you know, and Russ Tippins and all the guys from Satan, really forming these friendships with these guys that have been doing it for years. I'm just really infatuated with the idea of just like, we do this because this is our dream. This isn't something we do because we want to be rich, famous, and successful. We have a dream, and that's what keeps the clock ticking, is the dreams we have about our artistic process of things and what we just do naturally, you know, like. And another thing is, like, recently it's been really weird, as I've been having dreams of songs and waking up and going and like recording the riff that was in my head in a dream. So there's some weird shit.
The album includes a very cool cover from real life,
Yes.
Send Me an Angel. Tell me why that song, and
So
what inspired that? It's a rocking song.
I was really, like, I started skateboarding in 1987. I was not your like typical neighborhood kid, you know, listening to New Kids on the Block and the stuff that was popular at that time. I was listening to rock, I was listening to metal. I had older cousins getting me into things, and I used to go to Blockbuster Video all the time. My dad's a big movie guy, and so he always kind of got me into watching movies. And there was a couple movies that I loved. I'm gonna wait till this thing passes.
That's, by the way, that's Satan above us.
Yeah, they're probably flying in right now, huh? I think they flew into New York, to be honest.
That's it.
Anyway, there was a movie called Thrashin', and then there was another movie called Rad. Thrashin' was a skate movie, and Rad was a BMX movie. And there's this scene in the movie where Send Me an Angel's playing, and they're like at a high school prom, but they like ride their bikes into it, and they're doing like bike tricks on the tables and like the dance floor and shit. And it's kind of cheesy, but it's like really great. And even 30 plus years later, it still holds the value. But I always thought that was a rad, no pun intended, rad song. I always loved the hook. I loved the synth. And I also never really wanted to cover a heavy metal song. Spiders.
Uh-huh.
I never really wanted to cover heavy metal songs. They've already been done. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't need to reiterate something that a heavy metal band has done. I want to do a rock band and, or whatever, new wave band, and put my kind of flair of what I do onto it. And it kind of almost sounds like a Haunt song. It blends right in.
It blends with the album very well.
Yeah.
That's for sure. With so much activity, so many releases, what kind of a legacy are you kind of craving for yourself?
For me, there's the personal goals that I would like to achieve as far as my songwriting goes. I'm still fluently writing, and I'm still like very inspired on writing. And until that flame kind of dies out for Haunt, for me, I've kind of like come to terms with that now that I'm 42 years old, that like realistically the only thing I really should focus on is Haunt, because the years that I have left here to play music should be that. I just want to get to a point where, I've finished maybe writing all the things I'm going to write and be able to look back on it and be proud of leaving behind a big body of work to be remembered by. Like some people may never even get to it in their lifetime.
True.
So, and that's fine, but there's always new people finding you. There's a lot of bands that I found late. And, and you dive in an album that's like, they already had 7 albums, and you never even get back to those, and it maybe takes 15, 20 years, and then you finally get the time to go back. That's okay too. So I just like to leave a good, solid, I'm not gonna put out albums anymore when the flame's gone. When I'm not inspired to write anymore, I'm done.
A few years ago, you did an album of acoustic versions of your songs.
Yes.
What was it like to strip it down to basics?
That was a weird one. I really, it was inspired by my dad. He was like, gave me this acoustic guitar, and I was like, what am I gonna do with this? I play acoustic a lot, but I don't really like, it's not something I generally like. He's like, go play one of your songs acoustic, record it, see what it feels like. See if it's, because I do write a lot of it on acoustic, but I don't strum it. I play it like a heavy metal song, palm muted, power chords, that sort of thing. So this was more going into it, doing the strums, playing the full minor chords, playing the chords as it would be chorded in that sense. I don't know if I put Unplugged Volume 1 not knowing if I would ever do it again. Right now I have like no inspiration to go back and do it like that again. Like it might have been a once in a lifetime thing, but I didn't want to leave it closed. It's hard because like it did take time, and I felt like it kind of took away. But then the single for the next record, Serenade, it opens up. The song opens with the acoustic style that almost sounds like it came off of the Unplugged.
It does.
So it was kind of like, it was good that happened, because it showed me that maybe I could incorporate some new elements into my music that maybe I wouldn't have thought of before.
Finally, since you're so busy with the music, what things do you do outside of music?
Well, I'm a dad, so me and my son, we collect Masters of the Universe Origins action figures. So we spend a lot of time doing battle formation, setting up figures and doing all that. And then he just started school, so I got a little bit of free time during the day now, where my life is music. So outside of the family stuff, that's really, I don't really have time for anything else other than my family and music. Those are my two most important things to me. So when I'm not playing music, I'm spending it generally with them. You know, we go on little trips. We'll go down to Santa Cruz. We'll go to Yosemite and go see some outdoor stuff, do some tourist shit. Typical dad stuff, man. That's my life.
Thank you.
No problem.